Third brand or third strike? We've heard Triple H say this before. I'm sure Triple H will say it again. It is not a developmental territory. It is a third brand. Do we believe him this time? He said it. I think this is the third time he said it. Do we believe
Yeah,
him?
but this time he's treating them like it in the draft. He's like they're getting a draft spot and everything.
Yeah. And here's my thing. At this point, the roster is so huge. They have the PC center, their own center, so they can get people up. It really could be a third brand. Like you could get a lot of wrestlers, AEW, WWE, and New Japan. Their rosters are so big that you can get lost in a shuffle pretty easily.
Well, more it's the if you treat NXT as a third legit brand, you just keep running it how it is, but now you have an excuse to rotate bigger stars that honestly could use some more training or practice or want to work on new moves or something or new gimmicks. You can rotate them there. Returning stars from injury, you can rotate through NXT to give them more time. People who are coming back, like Sheamus, who came back out of shape. No offense, Sheamus. He got called up earlier than he expected, from what he had said. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll get back in shape faster. But if the opportunity were there, I'm sure guys like that would love to be able to go to NXT briefly and get to just use NXT's facilities and just hard work out for a while.
And a perfect example of this is Nakamura. Nakamura is so lost in the sauce in Raw and
Nakamura
SmackDown.
would probably love to stay at NXT and just go surfing and go to NXT.
Yep. So that would be pretty amazing. I hope it works. And on that, but with them going to Netflix, they'll need another TV deal. And they're like, well, it's a third brand. It's third brand. So business-wise, it makes a lot of sense. With them having their own center where they can train people 24/7, it makes their own sense. So I don't know. I always liked NXT, especially Triple H's NXT, way more than WWE. Like, I would rather watch NXT than WWE until Triple H
WWE
took
now
over
is like
everything.
NXT.
Yeah. I mean, it's not there yet, but it's close. You know what I mean? But also, too, NXT didn't have to fill in as many hours. So, but yeah, I just trust Triple H more, and a third brand would be great because there's a lot of talented wrestlers in WWE that just get lost in the shuffle. And I would rather see those guys that get lost in the shuffle be stars in NXT than see some, wrestler that's like, I'm 2 weeks into training. It's like, all right, well, good luck. I'm a former ballet star. I'm a former NFL star. I was
But
an
I like
American
those
Gladiator.
wrestlers because that's part of their system of creating new wrestlers, though.
I understand, but I feel like you can give them more polish. Or you could just
Yeah,
do
but
it.
they've
You did
also
with
had some of
Jadeberg.
them who do really great, though.
You could do what you did with Jadeberg. Be like, she's not good enough. She comes back the same exact wrestler. Now she's good enough. So yeah, I don't know. Third brand NXT, take it seriously. I just want where I talk about this with Pro Wrestling Noah. If you're gonna have a brand split, know what you're going to see. You know what you're gonna see with Monday Magic. You know what you're gonna see, with the different brands. But the thing is, I want to know, like, is NXT the real wrestling? Is WWE because like I guess Raw will always be the top storyline company, and SmackDown switches back and forth. So I wouldn't mind legit wrestling in NXT. Plus, if you put all the legit wrestlers in NXT, it hurts AEW a lot more, and that rubs the bananas a lot. They're like, oh yeah, rub my bananas to that. And then we get
I
to
don't
enjoy
think they
better
care
wrestling.
about hurting NXT as much anymore.
You mean
They're
AEW?
winning.
Oh, I think they do.
Yeah, AEW. They're
100%.
winning.
Oh, they are winning, but I think they care. I think they want to eliminate them. I think they care a lot, to be honest.
Maybe, but I don't. I don't see them caring enough to sabotage their own momentum.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think they sabotage. I think this is a win-win. I think if you put the best wrestlers in NXT and it's a pro wrestling heavy product. I
But
don't think
why
that
why
hurts.
why are you doing that if you that's where you're training your new people and you're going to take
See,
so
I
much
wouldn't
time from
train.
the
Well,
new
if it's a
people?
third brand, I wouldn't train new people.
But see, then you're taking away the whole benefit of NXT. You can have it be both while also having the work rate one be the promotion that of your of your two major brands. One of your promotions has had a reputation of being a work rate promotion
Yeah,
through
with
different
SmackDown.
iterations of its lifetime. SmackDown has. The
Yeah,
SmackDown 6.
I
That's what
think
I would aim for. I would aim for a rekindling of that kind of magic
if
if you wanted to do that.
if it's both, it's not a third brand. A third
Why?
brand
Why can't it be visually presented as a third brand while also
because
having
it's a
young
lie.
training wrestlers?
It's a lie.
Why?
It's just marketing. It's a
Why is
lie.
it a
It's not a
lie?
third brand. Because, all right, you have the AFC, the NFC, and the XFL. They're all three brands.
But those aren't in competing together in the same thing, so that's not valid. This
Well,
is more like
if you have a
having.
working relationship, okay. American League,
This is more
National.
like.
No. Hold on, I got a better one. American League, National League, AAA.
But those are different tiers of the thing. So at
That's
that
my
point, you're saying they're
point.
different tiers. I'm saying this is more like different conferences in basketball, or like not conferences, divisions in basketball. Except one of the divisions is actively using college players as part of it. But that's not because they're a shittier one. They still have stars. They still are treated the same. They still present the same. They still put the same level of effort and product out. But they do have people there that are still in their training process and are in their earlier parts of their careers.
So you're saying Eastern Conference, Western Conference, G League.
No. I'm saying like the divisions, not the conferences. Divisions within conferences.
I just think if they had to be a third brand, you can't be a developmental. I
So
think if
you would just scrap all of NXT, just say fuck it, destroy NXT,
that's the
and just
extreme.
make it. That's the only way to not have developmental there, or you just having the developmental and telling them none of them are any, no longer do they deserve TV time, and are you taking the whole aspect of it being a TV training facility out of the picture? Because that's what it's
Yeah,
been. It's been a TV training facility.
yes and no. Yes and no. Let me try to explain it more like if it's a third brand. If it is a third brand, it has its own vision. And then if it's a third brand,
Why can't its vision be to create its own stars?
Yes and no. If they are ready to go, then yes. But if you see someone insanely green, no. They should go back to the PC
Why?
Center.
AEW has insanely green people. And those
Yes.
people are now big parts of their show.
I guess, but then you would have to put insanely green people on Raw and SmackDown like
Julia Hart, for instance,
Yeah.
absurdly green.
Yes. And they don't have a developmental except maybe if you count Ring of Honor. I'm saying if you bring green people onto Raw and SmackDown and have like a legit green draft, then it's a third brand.
But then those people aren't getting the training time because they're out on the road the whole time.
Then it's not a third brand.
What? This is a really pointless argument then, because you have a hardline stance that you won't budge from, because it's just, if it's not the exact same in all three, then they're not really three brands.
Yeah.
Like they can't be different.
No, they can be different, like style wise. Style wise, they could be different. But if your brand is we have young guys and we're gonna build them up to Raw and SmackDown, that's not a brand. That's a developmental league.
I agree to disagree then, because I think that they can still have developmental aspects and still be a legitimate third brand and be presented as a third brand with NXT.
And then I disagree that if you don't spread out the green kids, we'll call them young lions for the sake of not calling them kids or boys, you know. If you rookies, we'll say rookies. If you don't have a draft where you spread out the rookies, then you're not on the same playing field.
Why? Because think about it. But think about it. Whenever they do like the kind of cross promotional competition that they do with their brand splits, usually it's only like the top like 4 or 5 wrestlers from each one. It's not their whole roster. It's not the green people. It's not the B-listers on the roster. It's their top tier.
Yeah,
So
but
won't they all be on equal footing whenever it comes to their actual competitions like that?
I
Because they're not trying to be actual ratings competitors. Not in reality. They're trying to
yeah, yeah.
present three different brands.
Well, they
But
would love that in reality.
they would love it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not like that's
Yeah,
not
that's not
the
where we're
brand
at
split's
now.
purpose. The brand split's purpose isn't to do that. It's just a way to keep it fresh, split up the roster some.
Well, the
Which
original
when
brand
you look
split
at it that way,
the original brand split was that purpose. Raw and SmackDown, that was the purpose to compete its own. It didn't have WCW. TNA was nowhere near where it needed to
right?
be. So yeah, the original point of the brand split was to make your own competition.
But
Now,
is
granted,
that
they
what
failed miserably at that.
But I'm asking, like, genuinely asking this.
Yeah.
Now the point seems more like it's just a shakeout.
Yeah. I think the benefit of it being a third brand is that people that get lost in the sauce have a home. That is the benefit.
I see. I think the benefit is also it gives more windows for them to spotlight guys that are going to be really big stars from NXT in these big three-way basically events in these pay-per-views where they have people from all three brands competing. It just gives them an avenue to more easily do that without it being seen as, oh, that means this person's getting called up. Because
Yeah.
say they have
Like Steiner's son. Steiner's son's a
yeah,
perfect example of this.
say he comes in the Rumble, people are like, oh, he's getting called up. But really, the Rumble should be something that NXT guys can show up in and just be part of,
I agree.
without changing. And I think that's what this is one of the big perks. Though I think you're entirely right. It's a great way to give guys who are lost a chance to reinvent themselves, a chance to find a spotlight again, a chance to just change something about themselves.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's really good that it's paired with that developmental facility.
And
Also, it's a great way to send down. Last thing, and I'll shut up. It's a
I
great
don't
way
know.
to send down. Say you have a guy who's white hot, and that guy is great at something. Like say you have CM Punk, and CM Punk is good on the mic. You
Mhm.
can give him that. CM Punk good on the mic. When he's down in NXT, you now have a guy who's great on the mic who can teach these people, and that's the sort of thing that applies with your whole roster now. With anyone you can rotate down there is now someone that say you have AJ Styles nearing the end of his in-ring career, but he has talked about potentially wanting to be a trainer. Now you have AJ Styles gets drafted by NXT as a potential in a year or two. AJ Styles gets to try out being a trainer at the same time, see if that's for him.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful possible outcome for this whole system. Could be really, really good. I think the upside could be really, really good.
Yeah, and there's another positive upside is NXT when you're super over as a champ and you lose the championship, everyone thinks you're being called up.
Yes, they think it's instant call up, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
would change if it was a legit brand because then it wouldn't
Yeah.
be the case.
I think there's a lot of positives, but I also think it wouldn't be a legit third brand in my eyes. But I guess that doesn't matter if the marketing is there.
That's what I think it is. Is if it how it's marketing presented, and if they're keeping it where the competition is just like Survivor Series matches and stuff like that, where they're bringing guys from all the brands together, you can easily hide the difference in power levels between brands on the lower end of the spectrum.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're just playing with the top half of the deck from each one.
And there's probably guys that let's just pick on someone that gets lost in the sauce. I hate to say Nakamura, but I can't think of anyone else that's more lost in the sauce. If Nakamura gets sent down, the fact that it's presented as a third brand, maybe the wrestlers that have been there for a while won't see it as a problem, especially for those that didn't come through NXT. Like, there's probably wrestlers that never came through NXT that'd be like, I ain't fucking going back down there. If you can get rid of that attitude by calling it a third brand.
You also get to change something I didn't think about. Someone like Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
You could have had her drafted by NXT, and it wouldn't have been a big deal. You still present her as the big star that you wanted her to be, but you've got her hidden away in NXT where she's getting all the training and protection.
Yeah. I think there's more positives than negatives, but for my stubborn ass, until they separate
your kayfabe power levels won't be equal.
Yeah. And unless they have like, because here's the thing: what if they had like a rookie draft? Like you could kind of recreate Tough Enough, but with like legit wrestlers.
The problem is just having to spread them out away from the performance center.
Yeah.
Where they don't get the benefit.
And I also think NXT,
they have it.
And business-wise, for it to be like a legit third brand, it has to travel. But I think an NXT traveling show would destroy it.
I don't know. I think NXT could do a traveling show the same way that I pitched AEW could redo their schedule. NXT could do that. Where NXT, you know, their pay-per-views are going to be at a place, but their weekly is going to be at the Performance Center. Their pay-per-views, they'll go to different spots for the pay-per-views like they already do, and then on the road up to those pay-per-views, they do a few different towns on the way up there.
Yeah. And especially because WWE has so many... WWE and New Japan have this problem where they can't make money off smaller arenas because they're just, at this time, too big. Now, granted, wrestling companies go up and down. But right now, New Japan and WWE are too big. But you could send an NXT to keep those towns fresh and hot. So, yeah. And also, too, with a traveling NXT, it's one more place where you can block competition, which is a big factor in WWE's plan. I mean, TKO just straight up said it with UFC and WWE. They plan on blocking competition. So, a traveling NXT every now and then, you go to a city that WWE is just too big to go to, but you want to keep your competitors out. So.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, I think it's all positives, but I don't think it will be a legit third brain in a lot of it will be a legit third brand in a lot of people's brains unless they spread out the rookies. But I don't see them doing that. So, but there is benefits because I'm sure there are guys that like, hey, dude, why don't you go down to NXT? And they say, fuck off. I guarantee there's probably guys like that in the back. You know,
like, yeah, I'm not going down.
I mean, okay, let's take.
But then there have been guys who went down there though from main roster that it did great things for him. Dominic did great when he went down there,
and also too.
Sheamus, I think, went down there and was good.
Yeah, and the Dolph Ziggler storyline was amazing. Yeah. So
Breeze was good there. Well, Breeze was always good there.
Yeah, I love. What is Breeze still part of WWE or is he out?
Breeze, from what I was told by chat. Breeze has a contract through WWE to do the up, down, down stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen up, down, down in such a long time. Might have to go check it out. I used to really enjoy it and then just stopped watching it one day. So, we'll check it out. So, even though we disagree what a third brand is, I think we could agree this is a positive thing.
Yeah, net positive for sure.
Yeah.